Commander, you are a Paladin, a defender of the light. Today, I'm going to show you how to play a Protection Paladin the easy way, but before I do, let's take a look at how they work. Protection Paladins are pure tanks. They rely on building up holy power and spending it to deal more damage or provide more survivability. You can build up to 5 holy power using the following abilities in order of priority: Crusader Strike, Judgment, Holy Wrath, and Hammer of Wrath. Note that Holy Wrath will only generate holy power if you've chosen the Sanctified Wrath talent, otherwise it does not belong on this list. And Hammer of Wrath can only be cast on targets below 20% health. You will mainly be spending your holy power on Shield of the Righteous. It consumes 3 holy power to deal heavy damage and provide some mitigation for yourself. However, in the event that you are in dire need of some healing, you can always choose to spend your holy power on Word of Glory. It consumes up to 3 holy power to provide an instant heal. Now there are a few other abilities that need to be used in your rotation. These will be referred to as filler spells because they neither produce nor consume holy power. The first is Avenger's Shield. It's a ranged attack that can ricochet on up to 2 additional targets. It can also be used as an interrupt. Keep this ability on cooldown, and look out for the Grand Crusader proc, which will reset the cooldown of Avenger's Shield and cause your next Avenger's Shield to generate 1 holy power. Next one is Consecrate. It puts an area of effect on the ground around you, dealing damage to anything that stands in it. Also, if you did not choose the Sanctified Wrath talent, Holy Wrath becomes a filler spell. And speaking of talents, let's not forget your level 90 talent. No matter which one you chose, do not forget to keep it on cooldown at all times. And so your rotation basically comes down to building up holy power, spending your holy power, and using your filler abilities in between. And as for AoE situations, you'll do basically the exact same thing except you use Hammer of the Righteous instead of Crusader Strike. And that's a very basic rundown of how to play a Protection Paladin. And though there is so much more to being a tank, we can at least make the rotation a little bit simpler. But keep in mind, this method is not for hardcore raiding or min-maxing. This is for casual play, or people with disabilities like myself. You will need a mod called Gnome Sequencer, which can be found on WoW Interface. There will be a link in the description below. So download it, unzip it, and place it in your add-ons folder. Now to make things easier, I have provided a file containing all of my macros designed for Gnome Sequencer. You can find a link to it in the description below. The file is called sequences.lua, so download it and place it in the Gnome Sequencer folder that you just put in your add-ons folder. If you followed all of these steps correctly, you're ready to log into the game and create the macros. Now that you have Gnome Sequencer set up with my sequences file, you are ready to begin making macros in game. It is important that you give the macros the names that I tell you, and that you do not put any text in the macro field. Just name them and place them on your action bar, and Gnome Sequencer will do the rest. The first macro should be called Prot-S, one word. This stands for Protection Single Target. This is a fully functioning 1-button spam macro. It'll keep all your abilities on cooldown, and whenever you have 3 holy power available, it'll spend it on Shield of the Righteous. It'll also keep your trinkets on cooldown and switch to Seal of Insight if it's not already activated. The next macro is Prot-A, which stands for Protection AoE. This macro does the exact same thing, except it uses Hammer of the Righteous instead of Crusader Strike. These macros are very good at keeping all of your abilities on cooldown. They're also extremely good at using Shield of the Righteous whenever you have 3 holy power available. Too good, in fact, if you're the type of player that likes more control, because you will find that the moment you have 3 holy power, it's instantly consumed by Shield of the Righteous, making it very hard to use Word of Glory. So if you would like to have more control over spending your holy power, there are 2 other macros available for you. They are called Prot-SB, which stands for Protection Single Target Builder, and Prot-AB, which stands for Protection AoE Builder. These macros do the exact same thing as the other macros, but without Shield of the Righteous, allowing you to cast Shield of the Righteous or Word of Glory separately as you see fit. Now let's go over talents and glyphs. The macro has Execution Sentence included, so if you've chosen one of the other talents, make sure to cast those separately. If you've chosen Execution Sentence, it will cast that in the macro. There is one mandatory talent choice. If you do not choose it, none of these macros will work, and that is Sacred Shield. Sacred Shield is included in these macros because it's regarded as the best choice for its tier. If you do not choose it, these macros will not work, so make sure that you choose Sacred Shield. Now these macros also use Divine Protection, which is a mitigation spell. The philosophy behind using this ability whenever it's available is that it provides more regular mitigation for yourself, making the job a little bit easier for the healers. However, to get the most out of using it this way, it's recommended that you go with the Glyph of Divine Protection, which reduces physical damage as well as magical damage. And since these macros use Consecration whenever it's off cooldown, it's recommended that you use the Glyph of the Consecrator. This glyph causes your Consecration effect to move with you, making it more effective based on how it's used in the macro. And that's pretty much how I play a Protection Paladin. And as a legally blind player, this is how I tank, which is something I never thought I'd get to do. So if you're interested, feel free to give it a try. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that like button, or even the favorite button. And if you found it informative, perhaps you'd like to inform your friends by sharing it with them. And don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see future videos on this channel. Thanks for watching, have a wonderful day, this is TheKephas, until next time.